Hello everybody, I'm super excited about what we're going to do today in this reading because we're going to be revisiting the Journey to Marriage video reading, which is still to date my most widely viewed video. It's coming up on a year since I first published that video, and it's getting close to 400,000 views, which I'm very grateful for. It definitely was nothing that I ever expected. I never expected to have any video of mine have that many views. So a lot of you are familiar with that because for some of you, for a great deal of you, that's the way that you found me to begin with, through that particular video. That's why you became a subscriber of mine. But I think, whether you've seen that video or not, I think a lot of people recognize that, that video, it's about a journey to marriage with your true love, twin flame or soulmate, a real spiritual marriage, and how are you going to get there? So a lot of people had wonderful feedback from the original video, and it meant so much, and it made so much sense to so many of you. But I think we all realize, that in this journey called life, we don't have just one true love. We can have many spiritual loves, people who are very meaningful to us on the soul level. We can have many soulmates. We do have many soulmates. Not all of those are romantic connections. We can have friends and family members who are soulmates. Of course, that's not what we're talking about here. But we can have many romantic soulmates. And what Spirit has recently made me aware of is that, interestingly, you wouldn't think that this would be true, but we can have multiple twin flames as well. I know you're like, Gabby, your twin flame is the other half of your soul. How can you have more than one of those? Well, what my guides have made me to understand is because many of us have experienced life in other dimensions as well as this one. You can have a twin flame who you have has been your twin flame in another dimension, and perhaps that person has also incarnated into her this earth experience with you right now, into this lifetime in this particular dimension. So yes, it's totally possible. Reality is so much more expansive than we can ever truly understand. So even if you've watched the original Journey to Marriage video, I say you can possibly get, a very helpful message out of this one as well. So we do have 3 reading options. If you want to go ahead and go to your reading, you can. I'll explain to you more what each of the card options are here in a moment. But I also am excited because in this reading, Aria, who created the iN2IT Oracle deck, and I'm using cards from that deck here. You've seen me use it in some of my videos. I've seen other tarot readers, YouTube readers use this deck as well, so I know you've probably seen this before. It's kind of like an expanded Lenormand. It also has spirit animal cards in it and astrological cards that reference timing and astrology. So it's a very interesting deck. It's very innovative, but Aria has come out with a tarot deck that is also very innovative, and I want to talk about this, and I'm going to do a full walkthrough of the deck and explain more about it. You don't have to watch that, but I would encourage it if you're someone who really enjoys tarot, especially if you're someone who really wants to learn how to read tarot and you have a difficult time remembering the meanings of the cards. This is the deck for you. So she has given me this, this deck has not gone to print yet. She currently has a Kickstarter campaign going on, and I'm going to link to that Kickstarter campaign if you'd like to back that. You'll get, it's a good thing to do if you're interested in the deck because you'll get it at a lower price. You'll save at least $10, if not more, depending on which backing option you choose there. So she has sent me this free deck in exchange for me talking about it. But honestly, even before she emailed me, to ask me to do a video with her deck, I was still planning on eventually getting this deck for myself because I am someone who really enjoys tarot decks more than I do oracle decks in general. But also, I feel like what Aria brings to the table in terms of deck creation is that she's so completely innovative. It's like she really finds that one little missing thing that no other deck offers, and she finds a way to offer that. So I'm going to do a complete walkthrough of the deck here in a moment, but I do just want to explain what is so innovative about this deck. So here we have the World card, right? And you'll see that on this side of the card, so there's a little key phrase that says end of a chapter. And then she has, in addition to that phrase, she has multiple keywords: achievement, success, sense of belonging, accomplishment, wholeness, integration, fulfillment, travel. And then she also offers as a key phrase and keywords for the reversed, So if you're trying to learn tarot, learning 78 meanings for the upright versions, in addition to another 78 meanings for the reversals, that's a lot to remember. I recently was asked to do a little Tarot 101 workshop at a pagan festival near where I lived. And, a couple people said to me afterwards, I really want to learn tarot, but I have so much trouble remembering what all of the cards mean. Well, this is a great way to do it. And there are some decks out there that already offer keywords on the cards, right? So that is all already available. But what she's offering here that is not available in any deck that I personally have ever seen is that you can also turn the card around, and on the other side, there aren't keywords. So if you're trying to learn the tarot, it's sort of like working with training wheels. You can start out looking at the version with the keywords, and as you get more familiar, you can turn it around and start reading from this side, or you can even use it as sort of like a flashcard, like look at the blank side of the World card and try to remind yourself, okay, what are the meanings associated with this? And then you can turn it around and check and see if you got it right. So it's a great deck for a learner, but it's also a great deck even for someone like me who has been using tarot for a long time. I love to look at other tarot readers. Even when I watch people's videos, I learn a lot about how other people, the associations other people make with certain cards that I myself wouldn't necessarily make. Because I feel like reading tarot is an act of translation. So the more you can open up those possibilities of meanings, the more complete and accurate your translation can be, because the same card is not going to mean the same thing for every single reading. And you have to get in touch with your intuition and look at the surrounding cards in order to understand that more clearly. But I really love just, having these keywords, even for me, I feel like is very helpful, even though I already have my own, knowledge of what each card means. I think it's always great to expand upon that. Now, she has two options for this. There's one like this where the cards will switch over. And then there's another version that you can buy that's a little more expensive, where basically you're getting two decks. And one deck will have the keywords on it, and the other deck will not. So it'll be more like your typical deck where, the back side of it just has, like a pattern or something on there, and then the actual tarot card image is on the other side, rather than there being a tarot image on both sides. So those are the two options she's trying to get printed. She's got a Kickstarter campaign going on, and I'm going to link to that below and link to a video that she's done about these decks as well, so that you can learn more about them and see, I just have this one version, which is the version that I personally would prefer. But yeah, so if you want to back her Kickstarter campaign, if it doesn't get funded by November 4th, then, you'll get your money back. I think actually that Kickstarter doesn't take the money out of your account unless the campaign reaches its full funding goal. So she may or may not reach that. I have faith that whether she does or not, she's still going to, this deck is still going to become a reality in some way or other. But yeah, if you fund that campaign, if you fund that Kickstarter campaign, for one thing, if you're wanting this deck, you might as well fund the Kickstarter, because you can get at least $10 off the deck by doing it that way, versus what you would pay once the Kickstarter is already funded. Also, she will back, if you want to leave a comment saying, I backed this Kickstarter, she is going to choose one of you who backed it and match your own donation in order to try to fulfill this campaign. Let's see. I feel like there's something else that I wanted to say about this. Let's see. Oh, yes. I also wanted to say that if you're someone who sells tarot and oracle decks, she also has some funding options for wholesale purchases where you can save 50%. So if you're someone who's trying to, earn a living with a metaphysical store or something like that, where you're selling those types of things, I mean, that's a great way to really increase your profits. So, all right, so I think that's a great thing to look forward to. Now we do have 3 reading options, and if you want to stick around after I present these 3 options, then I am going to do a full walkthrough of the cards here in this deck. All right, so let's show you what your options are just for the Journey to Marriage reading. These are from her Oracle deck, not the deck that she's currently trying to get funded, but so these are, like I said, more like Lenormand style cards. So the first one is Stalemate. We have some chess pieces here, and the keywords are standoff, no way out, non-committal, hold out, delay tactics, blocked, and refusing to compromise. So that's reading number 1. Now I shuffled and randomly chose these, so Spirit has some reasoning for wanting these particular cards to come up. The second one is Wine, and it says developing over time, flavor, family legacy, the good stuff, finesse, ripening, and ages well. Number 3 is Fish, resources, finances, investments, prosperous, money, income, commerce, multiply, and large quantity. So as always, your timestamps for these readings are going to be in the description area and also at the top of the comments. Now, if you want to see all of the images in this deck, then stick around here and you will see me go through a full walkthrough. All right. All right, so here are some notes on this particular deck before we get started. Like I said, it's she says it's truly 4 tarot decks in one, depending on how you use it. The front has the keywords. The back is without the keywords. You can use the front with reversals or without reversals. So each card is marked with the astrological symbols associated with it. So if you have these memorized, like if you know that that little symbol equals Libra, and that that one means Gemini, and that that one means Aquarius, and you know what the planetary symbols are, then, that's nice as well, because a lot of people, that helps them to read the cards as well, because they have a knowledge of astrology, and that you just adds to your interpretations. With her court cards, she calls the knights the champions, and they come in the feminine form, and the pages are messengers. Rather than kings and queens, we have the masculine and feminine of each suit. This is a sample deck. The final product will be printed on high-end casino quality cardstock. Even these feel pretty substantial to me. And the packaging is going to be similar to the iN2IT Oracle. They will come in a beautifully designed 2-part box. So it's going to be something similar to this. As you can see, this is very high quality packaging. I usually don't even keep the boxes that my decks come in, but with this one, it's nice enough that I have. The iN2IT Oracle deck also comes with a bag of tourmalinated quartz, so that's nice. So yeah, and I love that it has this ribbon too, because that helps to get the deck out. Now again, this is the iN2IT Oracle deck, so this is not going to be the exact packaging, but it's going to be a similar quality of packaging that you'll find with the tarot. So this is the iN2IT Tarot deck. All right, so let's get into the actual cards here. So we have, if you're watching in high definition, you can probably read the keywords for yourself. So we have the Ace of Air, and it's, obviously is associated with the 3 air signs. So that's the front side with all the keywords, and that's what it looks like without the keywords, And she has beautiful photographic images on each card as well. Most of the images are pretty similar or reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and some of them maybe are a little bit more interpretive or interpret the card's meanings a little bit differently than the Rider-Waite-Smith. So here we have the Ace of Earth. So that would be the Ace of Pentacles. You know, swords are air, earth are pentacles. The Ace of Fire, nice. A passionate start, it says. Love it. I love these keywords because some of these are not necessarily what I would associate, like aphrodisiac, but I like that. It is a sexy card, the Ace of Fire. Okay, Ace of Water. These are the keywords. The Two of Air. Two of Earth. Two of Fire. Two of Water, beautiful swan images. Again, see, this is very similar to what you would find in like a Rider-Waite-Smith type deck, this image. And then this is different, but it has, you know, this image is a bit different, but it still gives the same vibe. That the Four of Air or the Four of Swords is about finding stillness, finding peacefulness. So Five of Air, not by the rules. See, I like that alternative way of looking at the card. I would never have thought of the Five of Air or the Five of Swords in quite that way, but it's an interesting and helpful new way to view it. And then a lot of these keywords are ones, you know, defeat, hostility, serious conflict. Those are more of the types of meanings that I would commonly see as associated with that card. But I like expanding my own language of what the tarot card meanings can be, like I said before. So nice. The Five of Fire is a soccer match. See again the Six of Air, that's very similar to what we would normally see in a Six of Swords, that image. This is also very similar, as is this, the Six of Water. So this is interesting. The image is different on this side than this side for this particular card. So that adds a little bit more to the meaning as well. Seven of Earth. Seven of Fire. Worth fighting for. Seven of Water. I like this image for the Eight of Water, which is the Eight of Cups. Walking away. It's all about a difficult time walking away, but knowing that you have to do it anyway. Nine of Swords. Depths of despair is her key phrase for that. It's very appropriate. The Nine of Earth. Again, this is very similar because normally on the Nine of Pentacles, we see a woman with a falcon, and so here we have that as well. It's beautiful. And she's wearing this luxurious coat as well. So the Nine of Pentacles usually does depict a woman who has financial means that she's acquired for herself. It's a beautiful image. I like this for the Ten of Fire. Ten of Water, happy home life, happy family. So again, the messengers are the pages. So yeah, this is the Page of Swords. Would be like the Page of Pentacles. Studious. Page of Fire, powerhouse of energy. Page of Fire or Page of Wands is often someone who's very creative or adventurous. Then we have our Page of Water, romantic gestures, someone who's learning about romance and emotions. Okay, so the champions are like the knights, and I like the fact that these are depicted as women. Knight of Wands or Knight of Fire, or I'm sorry, this is Air, Champion of Air. Back to Nature. Oh, Champion. Well, I think there's a typo on that one, but this is just this is a sample. So, and then we have, here we have the Champion of Fire. Shameless flirt. That's funny. Okay, Champion of Water, following your heart. So this is like the queens, they're just called feminines in this deck. So Feminine of Air. Quick-witted, strong, candid, inner strength, fair, chatty, realistic, quirky. Let's see what her reverse meanings are for this. Sharp, pessimistic, overly critical, rude, gossip, evil stepmother, scatterbrained, unforgiving. Yeah. I sometimes read the Queen of Swords as also being like a wife or a girlfriend who is unhappy in the relationship and not being very nice about it. So here we have the Queen of Pentacles, or the Feminine of Earth. This is a beautiful photo. So these are like the kings. Masculine of Air, Masculine Earth. Now we're getting into the major arcana, the Fool card. Nice. Again, she's stepping off that cliff, so that's very reminiscent of what you would normally see. The Magician, I like this image here. Willpower, influence, action, intellect, logic. The High Priestess, looking very ethereal here. The Empress, her key phrase there is Divine Feminine, which is very appropriate. The Emperor, Divine Masculine. The Hierophant, key phrase religious tradition. On the reversal, the challenge. She calls the reversal the challenge, and that is the status. Oh, challenge the status quo, I guess is the phrase. Sorry. Convention, conformity, values, institutions, programming, marriage, faith. And the reversal, nonconformity, freedom, unconventional life choices. The Lovers. Chariot, the Strength card, the Hermit, holding her lantern up, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, the cool image, Death, Temperance, the Devil, strings attached, the Tower, the Star, this is beautiful, Wish granted, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment. I love her key phrase for this card, heeding the call. And then the World card. All right. So that is the deck. Again, if you're interested in going ahead and funding the Kickstarter, as long as her funding is fulfilled by November 4th, you'll get your copy of the deck for a discounted price. There are a limited number of those funding options available where you can get the deck, I think, at a lower price. But so try to get over there and get one before they're gone. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging around for that. Let me know if you enjoyed the walkthrough of this deck. I'm excited to be using it in today's reading. So go ahead and choose your reading. I'll see you there. Bye, guys. All right, welcome to your Journey to Marriage reading for those of you who chose number 1, which was the Stalemate card. So what this tells me already is that your journey to marriage with your true love may involve, some difficult moments where it feels like it's hard to really work out how to make it come together. But it also tells me that you're refusing to compromise. You're refusing to accept less than what you're worth. And so I feel like that's very positive. All right. I did a thorough shuffle off air because this is a new deck and I wanted to make sure everything was shuffled up really well. Because there are images on both sides, I am going to draw from the bottom of the deck. So the first thing that we're going to ask, we're just going to learn more about who this particular true love is that the reading is trying to address for you, who you might potentially marry. And then the journey spread is going to tell us the journey of how you come to have marriage with that person if you do. Of course, this reading can't guarantee that, but it's meant to serve as sort of a roadmap to how you can find marriage with a true love. And if you order your own personal journey to marriage reading, that's the purpose of that reading as well, to give you an insight into a particular true love of yours and how marriage with them might come about. So the first thing we're going to ask is this someone who you already know in this current lifetime? All right. Let me see. So this requires reversals and uprights. So let me just do a further shuffle here. Let me pause for a moment so that I can make sure that we have reversals and uprights coming through. All right, I'm back. So yes or no, do you already know this true love? Okay, so this is a yes because we get 3 cards upright. Now I thoroughly shuffled these so that some would be in the reverse. So, or there should be half and half in reverse. So this is a definite yes. This is definitely someone who you know. We get the page of the Messenger of Earth, which is like the Page of Pentacles. Let me pull the camera down a little bit further so you can see better. So Page of Earth, we have 8 of Air and the Ace of Water. I feel like this is someone who you do already have romantic feelings for. This might be like something that is more at its beginning stages, or just not a lot of progress has been made. The page also sort of indicates that it might be someone who, you know, you feel have substantial feelings for, but it might be more of like a new connection. And I think this is, we're going to look more into their personality and even something to do with what they look like as well. But this is already telling me this is someone who's very grounded. It might be someone who's very studious, hardworking. They're ambitious, you know, but it might be someone who's ambitious, but yet they haven't really found their true success, but they're hard at work finding their way. It can be someone who's still a student, who's in college, or who's just kind of like at the beginning of their career in some way. It tends to indicate someone who's very faithful and dependable. It might be a younger person, but it doesn't have to be. And then we have the Eight of Air, which is like the Eight of Swords, self-entrapment. So this is telling me that whoever this is, I feel like you already are sort of trapped in negative thoughts, or like maybe you're already starting to feel like this will never happen. And again, that makes sense because of this Stalemate card, you know. I do feel like a strong earthy energy here. There is a groundedness to this, although we have earth, air, and water represented. For whatever reason, this Stalemate card, even to me, feels very earthy. But, you know, there's no reason to get fixated on certain astrological signs. I'm just talking about earthiness in terms of being grounded. So I feel like this is, what I'm saying is, I think that this is a love connection that is durable. I don't think that either of your feelings are going to be just dissipating. It isn't like a flash in the pan where you're like, oh, I'm attracted to them, but then next week you're like, not so much. But I do feel like you already are sort of feeling fearful. To me, this card can also indicate maybe feeling a little bit insecure, you know, having like a doom and gloom mentality, feeling like your hands are tied and that there's no way to make this work. All right. So let's look a little bit more. I have this little handmade deck that will give us some characteristics possibly of this person. And I'm just going to close my eyes to shuffle because this is a strange little deck and I don't want to see the cards. Okay, let's see. I just kind of, when I do a deck like this where my eyes are closed, I kind of just feel with my hands, I feel which cards want to come out. Okay, I think that's enough. So we have the Architect, clean lines and exacting personality. So yeah, this is someone who might be a little bit type A. They could be an architect or studying to be an architect, but I just mean this in more of an archetypal sense when I wrote it down, like someone who's very precise, very orderly. You know, they like, you know, like I said, a type A type personality. They're funny. We also have the bat, spirit animal, and to me this symbolizes someone who maybe on the surface they seem a little bit cold or distant, but actually this is someone who, when you get close to them, they're actually very cuddly. They might like to cuddle a lot or hug a lot, but that might not be an apparent aspect of their personality until you really get to know them very well. So they might be someone who's slow to get to know. That really resonates with the messenger of earth energy as well. It takes time to get to know this person. One of their best features is their smile or their lips. You might have friends in common with this person. Their hair would be wavy. We also have the fourth house. So I feel like this is someone who's very connected to home and family. Home and family are very important to them. Another best feature is their physique. So you like their body. So that's what we get for that. Let me use these archetype cards to get a little bit more, and maybe we'll get something about possible careers as well. Of course, like we said, architect or something to do with building or construction, planning, design. Those could be possibilities, but this is a general reading, so I want to open it up a little bit more. This is probably someone who has had to go to school for whatever it is that they're doing, or if they haven't gone to school, then they've really done a lot of self-study and they've had to really educate themselves highly on whatever field this is that they've gone into. It shows me also someone who's very dedicated to their career, just in general. Let's see what else we get here. Father. Again, it seems very earthy, practical energy to me. Okay. I'm just going to take these in the upright. It might be someone who's very literary as well. You know, because this guy, he's holding a book, and then we have storyteller. She's also holding a book. Someone who likes to read, someone who's always learning, I feel like. We did get that they were funny, and so this also to me kind of makes me feel that way, that this is someone who's funny. It could be someone who works with children as well. Again, they're very ambitious, so whatever their career is, yeah, father makes me think that this is someone who also is very connected to children in some way. They're very hardworking. It's like they always have an ambition. They're never quite reaching the top of what they want to accomplish because they have such lofty goals for themselves. So even though we have basically the Page of Pentacles, which might be someone who hasn't accomplished a lot, this might be someone who, you know, compared to other people, they actually have accomplished a whole lot, but they haven't accomplished a whole lot compared to what their ultimate ambition is for themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, metaphorically, this is someone who wants to climb mountains. They're not just trying to get to the top of a hill. They've probably gotten to the top of a lot of hills, but they want to reach the top of, like, Mount Everest, you know. Speaking in metaphor, they might not literally want to climb Mount Everest, but you know what I mean. So what else? In terms of careers, saboteur. I feel like this person's, you know, even though they're so ambitious, they are self-sabotaging in some way. Yeah, we get saboteur and destroyer. Like, they're so ambitious, but it could also be a perfectionist, and their perfectionism is a little bit what gets in their way. So let's see. Let's see what else we get. What possible careers could this person be involved in? We get the Strength card reversed. Vulnerability. Yeah, I mean, this person sabotages themselves through their own self-doubt. And again, I just feel like there's a lot of perfectionism here that they have a difficult time overcoming. And they might struggle a little bit with feeling inadequate or self-doubt because their standards for themselves are so high. I'm not really picking up, other than what I've already mentioned, you know, something maybe that involves study or learning, like they could be a teacher or someone who works with children. They could be someone who's in an artistic field, a writer, or involved in any sort of artistic expression. Like I said before, it could be an architect or someone who plans or designs, a designer, a graphic designer. Again, we're getting that this is someone who is extremely family oriented. I feel like they want to have like a storybook family life, because we get storyteller and then storybook family is one of the key phrases here on this card. This is someone who's definitely looking for their happily ever after. And we have the Hermit, so I feel like this is someone, again, they spend a lot of time probably reading and also just doing a lot of soul searching, like trying to understand themselves. They're very interested in personal growth. So this is what we're getting about this person's personality. So let's see what your journey to marriage with this person would be like, okay? All right, I paused so I could shuffle and get the table ready. I'll do a couple more quick shuffles for you to witness. So what I do for the Journey to Marriage spread is I am going to keep drawing cards until I get one of my marriage indicator cards. And those cards are the World card, the Star card, the Strength card, the Four of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles. Let me see. The Hierophant. I think those are all of them. If I see one, I'll recognize it, but those are the ones right off that I know, that I take to mean that. And I'm just going to read these in the upright because sometimes I can pull a lot of cards until I get one of the marriage indicators. So I just don't want to make it more complicated than I need to. Okay, so we have the Hermit and Moon. I'm just going to keep drawing. Again, I'm just going to do upright readings. Let me try to make this so that you can see the cards better. One moment. All right, thank you for your patience there. All right, so your culminating card was the Ten of Earth, or the Ten of Pentacles. So what that tells me right off is that if you marry this person, this is going to be a marriage where the two of you are creating a family legacy together. Again, it's a very grounded, very earthy energy. There's going to be... you'll definitely be homeowners, I feel like, but also there's substantial money here. Like the two of you are going to be financially very grounded and stable. We also have the Emperor card. So I do feel, again, like this is someone who, although they are very ambitious, I feel like there's someone who will definitely fulfill those ambitions, especially as it relates to money and making their way in the world. So let's start out here. So we have the Hermit, the Moon, and the Nine of Air. So this is going to be the beginning of your journey, right? So your journey to marriage with this person is going to require a lot of solitude, which again does not surprise me because we had that Stalemate card in the beginning. Both of you are going to have to do a lot of soul searching in this process of coming together in a marital union. It's going to require really looking inward, because we have the Moon card as well. This is like deep soul searching, trying to find yourselves, trying to understand yourselves. A lot of self-development is going to be necessary for each of you to prepare your way for this. Along the way, we have Nine of Air, Three of Air, and Death. There's going to be a lot of heartache, a lot of worry, a lot of feeling hopeless, a lot of feeling like I'm never going to find my person. You know, the Three of Air, or the Three of Swords, is grief, loss, heartbreak. We also have the Three of Water coming up later in the deck. So definitely there could be issues of third parties. Maybe you're in love with someone who's not available, or, you know, you're the one who's not available, or both, you know. This process of coming into union with this person is going to involve a lot of major life transitions, major changings, things that will end and really change your life. You know, this person may even inspire lots of life-changing transformations within you. And I feel like along your personal path of understanding what you want and what you need out of your, you know, a romantic partnership and marriage in particular, you're going to understand that what you really want and what you really deserve is worth fighting for. You know, it's my life. You're not going to let other people tell you what you should do in life. Some of you might live a very solitary life in a lot of ways. You know, because the Feminine of Air, which is like the Queen of Swords, this is someone also, she has a lot of inner strength, but she has to stand up for herself in order to attain that independence that is so important to her. Again, I'll get a lot of strength here with you guys because we have the Nine of Fire as well. Like, You've had to persist and stand firm. You've had to endure a lot in life. I do feel like also, because we have the High Priestess, Temperance, and the Feminine of Water, a lot of what the journey is showing me actually is solitude. And maybe that's true for both of you, but it's definitely true for those of you who are watching this video, that this experience of coming into this union with this person is going to require you being alone a lot and really understanding yourselves. I do feel like also you guys are very intuitive. You are spiritual seekers. You're very in touch with your own emotions. You understand yourself, but also you're someone of tremendous depth. So you do understand yourself really well, but at the same time you don't. You're even a mystery to yourself at times, with the Moon card, High Priestess, the Feminine of Water. I feel that you are very spiritual people, and along this path of self-understanding where you experience heartbreak and loss, maybe you have relationships along the way that end in very painful ways. I feel like that journey, it has to happen in that way in order for you to understand how you can really become one with another person in a harmonious way, in a way that still allows you to feel tranquil and really in tune with your own self, because you are a very independent person. Yes, you're also very loving, but you're someone who ultimately needs to really stand up for your own needs in life. And so often in marriage, especially for women, we feel that we have to give up so much of ourselves. Like, why do we feel that we have to give up so much of who we are just to deserve a union, right? So you don't have to give up who you are in order to create this third entity, which is the partnership. And I feel that that's what you're learning along your way. Again, gosh, you're doing so much healing. Like, again, maybe it feels like you are alone a lot, but you're learning how to become stable on your own. You're learning how to overcome heartbreak and hardship so that you can really restore yourself and understand how to have a peaceful partnership with someone that isn't constantly causing your heart to break. You've experienced so much heartbreak. I also feel like, you've had a very solitary journey, and some of you might just prefer to be the Hermit, the Queen of Swords. These are all very solitary energies. That comes more naturally to you. You might have to fight for it a little bit to have that independence, but at the same time, it just comes more naturally to you. It might be that you guys struggle a little bit more when it comes to having, social networks that are loving and supportive friendships, people who you can rely on emotionally, so that all of those emotional needs don't have to be met through your romantic partnership. So I think that that's part of the journey as well. It may be a very solitary journey, but it's also a journey where you learn to heal yourself enough that you can really create a solid social network, a loving, supportive network for yourself as well. And it's sort of like, it may sound a little bit cliche, right? But it's sort of like when you finally find yourself, when you finally go through all of the healing and the self-understanding process that you need to go through, that's when this person can come into your life in a way that allows the two of you to become married. We all already saw that this is probably someone that you already know. But it's like the two of you both have to come into the fullness of your energy, your divine feminine and divine masculine energies. This person also is having to go through, I feel like, a similar process of self-understanding and healing. And they're going to become this Emperor card. And it's when the two of you have both fulfilled your own personal journeys of what you're meant to learn on your own, apart from each other. That's when this is going to come together, and it will just all make sense. It's sort of like when the time is right, when the two of you have matured, all of these blocks, this feeling of stalemates, this feeling like my true love marriage is blocked and everything is being delayed. And, why can't I have this life that it seems like everyone else has. Maybe that's how you feel. But once you actually work through all of that and come to this place of inner harmony, inner peace, tranquility, self-understanding, the ability to have happy, beautiful, loving times with other people that are not romantic relationships as well. When you really explore and also begin to express and share yourself with the world in beautiful, loving ways, that's when this is going to come into your life. So let's see what Spirit Guide wants to assist you on your journey. So this is from the Keepers of the Light deck. We have Radha, Soul Flame. And I'm just going to read her message from the book. And then if I feel that there's any extra message beyond what the book says, I'll let you know what that is. It says, rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship harmony and healing. Well, gosh, that basically just summarizes the journey that I just described. So there's a confirmation that if you feel like it's been at a stalemate and that you're never going to have this, that process that feels like a stalemate is just what's necessary. You're never going to get to this, Ten of Earth, Emperor relationship, marriage, life, if you don't also rediscover any lost parts of yourselves. Some of you may have actually experienced soul fragmentation, where part of your soul has become fragmented and separate from you, and so you might have to experience a soul retrieval process. I would encourage you to research soul retrieval and see if that sounds like something that makes sense. And that kind of fragmentation, if you've experienced significant traumas in your life, if you've experienced a lot of loss, a lot of heartache, that can cause this kind of soul fragmentation. I know for myself personally, I have experienced that. And when you start to retrieve a lost part of your soul, it's very profound and healing. So that is likely to be a part of your process as well. Okay, so let's read what she says here. The Hindu goddess Radha is the divine feminine counterpart and twin flame of Krishna. She is considered to represent Shakti, the divine feminine and creative spirit of the universal life force. Without the female, the male cannot be created. And for this reason, Shakti is a powerful force that is honored and cherished. Radha is completely devoted to her partner and illustrates the age-old adage, behind every powerful man is a powerful woman. She is dedicated to supporting all those who seek relationship harmony and healing. Harmony and healing. At one point, she learned what it was like to be separated from Krishna, and so she can also bring great healing to those who are suffering the loss of a partner or a separation. Some of you have maybe even lost a partner along the way, and you're trying to find, well, who's going to be, my true love now? Maybe you've lost a true love through death even. Okay. Loving union, connection, and relationship harmony are key at this time. It's important to remember, though, that relationships won't make you whole. Yep. Only your own love can do that. Again, this is just everything that we've already seen in the journey part of the reading. You now have opportunities to find lost parts of yourself, maybe sensual aspects or the capacity to cherish yourself. The relationships around you will then begin to reflect the love you have for yourself, which I think is what this Three of Cups is telling us. That you're not just going to be drawing your true love relationship and marriage into your life, but it's drawing these beautiful friendships and supportive family moments into your life as well. People who you have cherished experiences with. And these relationships that you have, they're going to reflect the love that you have found for yourself. Increased romance, love, and opportunities to express divine harmony through love are all becoming apparent in your life. You deserve divine love, and Radha, with her Shakti presence, is here to awaken this loving connection within you now. So yeah, this was a very beautiful message, I feel like. So if you feel disheartened with the process that you've been going through to find your true love, who you want to be with for the rest of your life, I hope that this reading is a source of strength and understanding for you about the reasons why you've had to go through what you've been through. So yeah, I do hope that this was meaningful and helpful and maybe even healing in some way, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this was enjoyable and meaningful for you in the comments. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Welcome to everyone who chose reading number 2, which was the wine. Let's get into your journey to marriage reading. I'm just burning some Palo Santo here. I think the smoke looks so pretty on camera. All right. So first of all, what the wine tells me is that this is going to be the good stuff. This true love that we're going to be learning about today, if you are able to marry them, it is something that's going to develop over time, you know, and I feel like it's going to be a love that becomes fuller and deeper over time, but it's good, you know, and the two of you age well. This is a relationship that ages well, and I feel like the two of you really bring out the best more and more over the years that you are together. So the first thing that we're going to ask is this someone who you already know in this lifetime? So we're just going to start out with this yes or no, and then we're going to learn more about the personality and the looks and maybe some possible careers that this person would be involved in, to just kind of give you some guidance about who this person is. If it's not someone you know yet, then maybe this is something that you can look out for as you continue on your journey in life. Okay, and since there are images on both sides, I'm going to draw from the bottom of the deck. So for the viewers of number 2, is their true love that we're going to be addressing here today, that they might possibly marry, is this someone who they already know in this lifetime? Yes. Yes, because all of these are upright. I want to look at the keyword sides. Okay, so we have, let me make this so you can see it easier. The 8 of water, which is like the 8 of cups, 7 of fire or 7 of wands, and then the temperance card. It might be someone either who you already have a relationship with or who you have had a relationship and had to walk away from. I feel like in general, whether you had a relationship with them or not, you definitely had to walk away from them. I do feel like this is someone who you guys already recognize that this is a very spiritual connection. I feel like there might have also been interference from other people that got in the way of this working out as well. With the 7 of wands here, you all had some haters who didn't want the two of you to be together. So yeah, that's what I'm getting so far. Let's get a little bit more information. I had this little deck. I'm just going to close my eyes as I shuffle this so I don't see. It's just a little handmade deck that can have, you know, personality characteristics and looks and things like that on it. Okay. I just want to see what wants to come out here. Take one more. All right. So this might be someone with a nice ass. This is funny because in both images here we're seeing the back of someone. No, that's her front. But anyway, this might be someone who has a nice ass. You know, sorry for the language, but or it could also be someone who really appreciates your bliss. They might have coarse or curly hair. Perhaps they have hazel eyes. Don't get too fixated on these because this is a general reading. Someone who's a little bit cold and distant, perhaps. Someone who has some skeletons in the closet. All right. Family ties are very important to this person. One of their best features is their voice And on this Eight of Water, this person has a guitar. So it could be someone who's a singer, musician, or just someone who has a very pleasant voice that you really enjoy. They might have a darker skin tone relative to their race, maybe on the darker side. Let's see. Their hair might be unusual in some way. If this is a man, I'm also getting that maybe they have unusual facial hair as well. But it could be unusual, just the style of it, the length of it, the color of it. And their best feature is their overall package. So like this is a real good catch, basically. So that's what I'm getting. We're going to get a little bit more here with the archetype cards. I'm going to see a little bit more about this person's personality. And maybe some careers they could be involved in. Music is already coming up. Music or anything that involves speaking or using their voice. They could be a speaker, someone who has to stand in the front of a room a lot and maybe facilitate meetings. Someone who has a lot to say. It could even be a writer. But they have, they need to express themselves through their voice in some way. Through their throat chakra. Again, that can be spoken, written, singing. Oops. Okay, I think I'm done. So we have the Advocate. Interesting. Advocate, the Queen, and the Damsel. I feel like whether this person is male or female, I do feel like they're very in touch with their feminine side. And this kind of corresponds to me with this card. Like, it could be a very poetic, artistic type person. You know, people like that, whether they're male or female, they tend to be a little bit more feminine in a certain way, or like just in touch with their emotions more. So we did get that they could be cold and distant sometimes, but I still feel like they're probably someone who is very in touch with their emotions. They definitely know their self-worth with the Queen card. But, you know, it says uses her benevolent authority to protect others. And then we also have the Advocate, which is someone who stands up for other people. You know, as we see here in this card, this also could be someone who advocates for the environment or for animals, but also could be for people. Someone who's involved in maybe some sort of social cause, or, you know, maybe political activism is very important to them or something like that. We also have Damsel. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. So I feel like, again, I just get, you know, like this might be someone who's very in love with love, like very courtly. They just love the idea of being in love. Maybe they even love the idea of rescuing a damsel in distress. But I feel like this may be someone who's had some unhealthy relationships before, and along the way they've had to try to learn healthier ways of being involved with someone in a relationship. They may have had to learn how to be more self-reliant. Or they may have been in relationships with people who were not very self-reliant, and they've had to learn more how to establish good boundaries. I'm also getting the message this is someone who doesn't necessarily see themselves clearly. You know, they might struggle a little bit with self-worth, although you may not know it, because I feel like on the surface, the image they put out is someone who is very self-confident. So I feel like they do sometimes lack self-confidence, but they would never let anyone know about it. Let's see what else we get from the tarot. So I feel like it's someone who's very exciting. Maybe it's someone who likes to travel a lot as well. Someone who communicates a lot. They have a lot to say, I feel like. It's someone who's going to be a good conversationalist. They have a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas, and they definitely like to share them. You get the Two of Earth. This might be someone who has multiple ways that they want to make money in life, and they have to sort of prioritize and make choices regarding which option they want to place more of their focus on. So it could be someone who has a day job and then a night job that's maybe more artistic again, because I do get an artistic feeling from this person. We also have Five of Fire. It could be someone who's athletic, also competitive, territorial. Again, I think this person likes to communicate a lot, and so they might get into arguments sometimes because they really like to advocate for their own way of seeing things. What else can we know about this person? We get the Two of Wands reversed. Stalled by lack of strategy. Redefine your purpose and desires. Reassess making adjustments. I'm also getting the feeling this might be someone who has to, like, at some point in their life, they decide to abruptly change their career path. Maybe they've always had this one career, and at some point, they really have to do this balancing act and really choose, is this really what I want to do with my life? And then we have Ace of Fire, just going for it. I feel like this is someone who's very passionate, for one thing, like they're very romantic. You know, we did get the cold and distant, so they could be cold and distant with people who they disagree with. Maybe they keep people at a distance when their emotions are running high. But they are very passionate and very romantic, I think. Someone who expresses their romantic feelings, probably in poetic ways. Yeah, they're very flirty, very sexy, adventurous. Again, I feel like probably someone who really enjoys traveling. Yeah, they're very confident, especially on their outward appearance. They come across as very confident, but I think that you don't always see what's going on underneath, which might be that they actually have a lot of self-doubt, more than you would know. You also get the Feminine of Fire, which is like the Queen of Wands. A little bit temperamental, a little sassy, juggling too many things. Like I was seeing, like they might have more than one career path that they're drawn to. You know, this person could have a little bit of a temper sometimes, maybe a little bit demanding. They're definitely very passionate. Get a lot of passionate energy. They really stand up for what they believe, and they stand up for people that they feel need to be stood up for. They like to advocate for other people. So they could be in some sort of career that requires them to advocate for other people's needs. I also feel like they could be in a career that, again, they might do something artistic, whether it's their primary career or not. But I also feel like they probably are in some sort of leadership role. They're not like an underling. They're not the one taking commands from other people. They're the one more like in some sort of management or leadership role, I feel like. Okay, so that's what I'm getting about who this person is. So let's go ahead and get into your journey spread and see what the journey to marriage with this person would look like. All right, welcome back. I had to clear the table a little bit. Now, the way that I do this portion of the reading is I've already shuffled a little bit. I'll shuffle a little bit more so you can witness it. But then I'm just going to keep drawing until I get one of my marriage indicator cards. And those are the Hierophant, the Star, the World, the Strength card, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. I think those are all of them. So sometimes it can be a pretty lengthy spread until we get one of those cards. And I'm just going to read these in the upright because sometimes it can be a pretty long spread, and so I don't want to make it too difficult for myself. So first we get the Hanged Man. Five of Fire. Magician. Eight of Earth. Scoot these over a little bit. The Feminine of Water, which is like the Queen of Cups. The Champion of Fire, which is like the Knight of Wands. I think that came up before about this person's personality. Have the Ace of Water. Okay, and the World card. Okay, so good. This wasn't too long of a spread. Let me kind of move it around a little bit. So the World card. This tells me that if the two of you are able to achieve marriage, again, it's going to be very beautiful. And the Wine card really supports that as well. You know, because this is, you know, the wine is good. You know, even from the beginning, you buy a bottle of wine, it's pretty good. But it's going to develop over time, right? It ages very well. It's also, to me, it makes sense because the World card is the last card in the major arcana. So it's really about achieving something, achieving wholeness, integration, fulfillment. Again, travel. I feel like the two of you might travel together. That might be an important part of your relationship. Okay, so let's see what we have here. I feel that there might be some things that get in the way of this connection really coming to fruition. I hope the lighting is good here. Let me pull the camera down a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so there might be some hang-ups. You know, it might be a while before this can really grow into the fullness of what it's meant to be. And that might be that it takes a while for the two of you to come into a relationship, or for the two of you, once you're in a relationship, to be ready for marriage or something like that. I do get a lot of passion. I feel like the two of you are a little bit competitive with each other. I think you both are very passionate people, and you both really like to express yourselves. I feel like, you know, you might engage in debates, but I feel like it's, you know, it's not anything negative really. It's more like you just both have very firm, fixed ideas about things, and it might be a little bit of a struggle sometimes to understand each other. Again, it says outdoing each other, and I feel that, you know, you both are dreamers. I feel like you both have big dreams for yourself, and so you might kind of both be inspired by each other's achievements, but at the same time you're like, ugh, look what they achieved. Well, why haven't I been able to achieve what I wanted? Or, you know, like, or haha, look what I've done. Haha, you know, I've gotten further ahead than you have. So it's like you love each other, but you also see each other a little bit as rivals. It reminds me of that, what is that, Boy George? I think it's a Boy George song, or, anyway, it's something like, are we lovers or are we rivals? Something like that. I don't know. So then we have the Magician, the Eight of Earth. Again, I feel like both of you really, you feel like a real call to your life purpose, that you want to be very dedicated to some sort of career that is purposeful and meaningful. You want to do something major, both of you, I feel like, and that's something that you share. And why a little bit that you're competitive with each other, I feel like. But you're both very purpose-driven. I do also see here on the Magician card, like, it could be like a twin flame type of situation, but it doesn't have to be. You know, all of these readings are supposed to be about some sort of high-level spiritual soulmate connection, but I just wanted to point that out for some of you. So yeah, I feel like both of you are very focused on achieving a life purpose, fulfilling your life purpose. And that might be part of what pulls you together, but in a strange sort of way. Maybe you also have life purposes that are at odds, or because you're competitive with each other, that also adds a little bit of a frustration to your ability to come together into this marital union. But there's a lot of love here for sure with the Ace of Cups. You know, and I feel like even though there's a little bit of competitiveness sometimes, it's sort of like, to me also, you both really champion each other. We saw the Advocate card for them. They really do stand up for you, and I think that you really stand up for them as well. You both are also very flirty with each other. You know, the passion is very strong. You're both passionate people in general. But yeah. I also feel like part of the journey might involve that you both have these competing interests, because there is this love that's drawing the two of you together. But you both are also equally invested in fulfilling a life purpose. And that might also be one of the things that sort of keeps you apart for a while, is that you both are focused on maybe at a spiritual level as well. Before the two of you are really able to come into this complete marital union, you both have to follow your own paths and really make more progress regarding your life purpose before you both feel ready for that. But yeah, we have there's definitely a very deep emotional bond. I feel like the two of you have a very intuitive or psychic connection as well. You kind of just understand, even though sometimes there are misunderstandings, and you both have a lot to say and a lot to express, and there might be a little bit of friction sometimes. It's kind of a little bit of a let's fight but then make up, in a sexy kind of way. You know what I mean? But I also feel like intuitively you're very aware of what's going on with this person and vice versa. It is a very magical connection as well. Maybe there are magical synchronicities regarding the two of you, signs from the universe saying, yes, this is a significant soul level connection. This person is very significant to you. And I feel like you really both expand each other's understanding of the world as well. So there's a lot of love here and some passionate, sometimes friction energy. With the Five of Wands as well, this person might feel like there's a lot of competition for you and that they have to prove themselves worthy. So that might also be part of their path in life. Like they really feel like they have to do something big in life. I think they want to anyway, because they're very purpose driven just in general. But they feel like they have to do something really great, do something really meaningful in the world in order to show them their worth to you in a way. And again, they come across as extremely confident, and I think overall they are, but there is underlying it, as we saw before, a little bit of self-doubt that they're enough. And but they're always fighting, to prove themselves, just in general, not only to you, but in life overall. So I kind of feel like in terms of your all's journey together, once you've both made significant progress in pursuing your own life purposes, I feel like the love and the passion that you feel for each other is really going to be enough to really bring this together. And as I said in the beginning, this doesn't guarantee that you're going to have marriage with this person, but there's definitely the passion and the love to allow it to come to fruition. And the World card is showing me that, you have this sense of belonging with this person. You don't have to struggle to feel like you belong with them. It just makes sense. You feel whole. Both of you are very focused on accomplishing your life purpose, right? And it's sort of I think you inspire each other in so many ways, and it feels extremely fulfilling. It says the end of a chapter. It's really the fulfillment of all of your hopes and wishes, your hopes and dreams about what marriage could actually be. All right. So other than what's already been said, what would be important to tell the viewers of number 2 about this? We have the feminine fire, which is like the Queen of Wands. There's so much sexy energy, so much passionate energy here. I think that what they want you to know is that part of what draws this person to you, what attracts them, is that you yourself are so confident. You're so courageous. They see you as outgoing or just someone who, the way that you interact with other people just makes you appear so charming, and they see you as visionary, like such a strong person. Yeah, I feel like they're on fire for you, and we saw that this is someone who you already know, and it might be a little bit in suspense, or you may have even had to walk away from this person, but they are very strongly attracted to you even now, and it's because you have this fiery personality that they just feel like, I need some of that fire, I need that fiery person in my life. All right. So let's see what Spirit Guide wants to assist you on your journey with this person. We have Horus, Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are coming. So let me read here from the book to see what Horus has to say. And if I have any further insights along the way, I will let you know. Beyond just what the book is saying. Okay. Let me adjust my lighting here. Okay, hopefully you can see that well. Horus is the Egyptian eagle-headed god and son/twin flame of the goddess Isis. He is known for his foresight, psychic awareness, and ability to travel between the worlds. And your culminating card was the World card. He can help us move into the cosmos with our mind, meditations, and prayers so that we can harness the natural magic that surrounds us. He was known for ritual magic in the past, and now he helps create pockets of energy in the world where we can access light, wisdom, and insight. If you are seeing the symbol of an eye appearing around you, know that Horus is asking you to become aware of how you are influencing the energy around you. You also had the Magician card, so this seems like a synchronicity as well. And how it is in turn influencing you. So you have a strong magical, like a law of attraction, manifesting abilities when it comes to this connection. So whatever thoughts you're having about this particular person, they are causing some sort of manifestation to occur. So you need to be very mindful of the thoughts that you're having. You are connected to the universe and have the ability to manifest miraculous experiences. Your thoughts, words, and actions are like magnets, drawing the energy that creates and cultivates your world. You have a stellar gateway chakra above your head, a vortex of energy that is influenced by your own energy. You can place ideas into this vortex to create what you are seeking. The universe also offers you guidance, abundance, support, and healing based on your capacity to connect to it and accept it. You have a real opportunity to further that connection now by sending prayers and intentions out into the cosmos. Yeah, so pray. Set your intention for the type of wonderful, fulfilling marriage that you want to have. All right, so I hope that was helpful, meaningful, and perhaps even healing in some way. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope that you got a lot out of that, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, hello to everybody who chose reading number 3, which was the fish. So first of all, what this tells me is that if you, this particular true love that we're going to pick up on in this reading, if the two of you achieve marriage together, it's definitely going to increase your finances. So there's going to be a lot of prosperity here. We have the multiply card as well, so you might have children with this person. But definitely I feel like this is a very prosperous union. So I've already done a thorough shuffle of this, but I'll shuffle a little bit on air for you as well. I've also shuffled it in such a way so that we'll have upright and reversed cards coming up, because the first question we're going to ask is a yes or no question. And I read yes or no's with 3 cards, and if they're mostly upright, that's a yes, and if they're mostly reversed, that's a no. And so this question is going to be, is this true love someone who you already know in the current lifetime? So do you already know them? And since these cards have images on both sides, I'm going to draw from the bottom. So this is a no. This was my first no of all the readings so far. So you haven't met this person yet, or if you have met them, maybe it's just not someone you really know. So they might be on your, on your periphery or something like. But the answer is no. And so we have the 7 of Earth reversed. We have the 9 of Fire reversed. And then we have the 6 of Water upright. So this is interesting. I feel like this could be, this is a general reading, so it's not going to mean exactly the same thing for everyone. But the 6 of Water does indicate that it can be someone from childhood. It also says soulmate here. Of course, all of these readings are going to be about some sort of true love. which would be like a soulmate or a twin flame. But yeah, so it could be that maybe this is someone from your past in a certain kind of way, but maybe you also just don't know them very well. And then for other people, you just don't know them at all. But it will be a very tender, tender moment when you come together. Again, there's this idea that you might have kids together as well, that might be. And it's a very comforting connection when you do meet and get to know them. Like I said, some of you might know them from childhood and you just haven't really established much of a connection, really. So I also feel with this Seven of Earth reversed, a lot of you feel like at this point in your lives, you're like, I've put so much work and so much effort into trying to achieve this true love relationship, a true love marriage, and I feel like I'm not really getting anything back. So I feel a little bit like a bit stagnant, you know, things are not happening, and I feel a little bit overwhelmed, you know, it's taken a lot of time, and you're feeling like you have to remind yourself that it is still possible, you know, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it won't ever happen. All right. And I do feel like this might be how this person feels as well. All right, let's see if we can learn more about their personality. I'm going to use these archetype cards and then pull some more tarot cards as well. Let me adjust my light here. Okay, so let's learn more about their personality. Oh, I forgot part of it. We're going to learn also about maybe what they look like using this little homemade deck of mine. I'm just going to close my eyes while I shuffle here so I don't see these. It's a oddball little deck. Okay, let's see, maybe one more. All right. So they might have medium length hair. That's the first thing we're getting. I feel like the lighting for this is not so great. One of my lights went out. The battery went out. Sorry about that. Okay, medium length hair, perhaps. Maybe even a shaved head. So they might be someone who sometimes they shave their head. Sometimes they have more of like a medium length. They might have dimples. This is someone who leads with their sex or their physicality. So either they're a very sexual person, or they might have someone with a very strong physique. So their body looks really good. They pay attention to their body. Perhaps they have blue eyes. Also could have black hair. So I feel like a lot of different options for the hair. Again, this is a general reading. We got so many hair things. It might be someone who changes their hair up a lot. Short hair, they wear their hair at different lengths, brown, and then their eyes might be brown or blue. So that's interesting. Let me pull a few more because we got a lot of hair options. And another hair, maybe coarse or curly hair. And one of their best features is their personality. So, I mean, I would say in general, something about their hair might really stand out to you in some sort of way. All right, again, this is a general reading, so don't get too fixated on it. So, either brown or blue eyes. Their hair might be all sorts of things, brown, black, maybe more of a brunette in general. It might be short sometimes, sometimes it's medium, sometimes maybe they shave it. Okay. All right, so let's see more about what the archetype cards tell us about this person's personality. I think there's someone who's nostalgic. For some reason, I'm wanting to pull out more for these than I normally do. Okay, sorry, the video cut out. Okay, so I kind of feel, so we have the Hermit and the Guide. I mean, these are very similar energies. I feel in general, this is someone who's probably more introspective, maybe introverted. You know, they probably really prefer a lot of time alone. They might be someone who's attracted to, because we have the King and the Damsel, this might be someone who's attracted to rescuing partners. This card showed up in one of the other readings as well, but you know, they might like to feel like they want to ride in like a hero and save someone. You know, that might be their idea of how romance or courtship works best for them. You know, they are someone who really, they want to be in charge. They probably have found a way to be in charge in whatever their career life is. This is someone who has a leadership role. They could be someone who owns their own business. With the Fish card as well, this is someone who has financial prosperity, I feel like. I also feel like they just have a very gentle nature, you know, with the Six of Water and then this child of nature, friendships with animals, communications with nature spirits. They might be maybe someone who has some sort of pagan spiritual beliefs, or just they're very connected to Mother Nature and animals in some way. A very sweet, gentle heart coming from the heart. Someone with a big heart, I feel like. Yeah, and even in this Hermit card, like, see all this fire that's coming out of his heart? You know, but I feel like people don't always see that because there's this black border around this person. They might come across as like a strong, confident leader, but people may not always see that inner fire, you know. But yeah, their heart, I feel like they have very strong emotions and very sweet, gentle. They're very sensitive, but I don't think that it's always very apparent to other people that they're like that. Let's see what else we get from the tarot about this person's personality. Maybe some, they might be in some sort of occupation that is focused on either children or nature, you know, working with children or animals or the environment. They might have an occupation that involves being some sort of guide to people, like a way shower of some kind, and maybe even a spiritual. It's definitely someone who's learned a lot of their own lessons in life, and perhaps they like to impart the lessons that they have learned to other people. They might have a career specifically that relates to women who are in need in some way. Let's see, we have the Emperor reversed. Yeah, along with the King, this person, well, they might have some father issues as well, but I feel like, you know, they had this strong need to be very dominant and in control. They might be a little bit of a control freak in a way. We also have the feminine air, which is like the Queen of Swords. I feel like they are extremely intelligent. They have a lot of inner strength. I feel like they're also very attracted to people who are very intelligent. And we have the Death card. I feel like this person has experienced major transformations in their life, difficult transformations. So yeah, I feel like this is someone who has a lot of emotional depth, but I feel like they kind of don't always show it because they like to come across as someone who has it all together. You know, they haven't realized fully that they can still show this inner fire, this heart-centeredness. They can still show that aspect of themselves and simultaneously be in charge or in control. But they're still, this is someone who's very interested in, you know, learning about themselves. So they've done a lot of learning along the way, but they have still more to go, which is, I mean, that's true of all of us. They're very dedicated to understanding themselves and to having achievement. I feel like wealth is also a strong focus. Achieving wealth is very important. They want to be the king, right? Okay. All right, so that's what we're getting about who this person is. Like I said, you may not have met this person yet, or if you have met them, you may not just know them very well for whatever reason. You know, not all of the cards were reversed when we asked yes or no, so there is a possibility that you know them at some level. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody, of course. So let's do the journey spread and see what your journey to marriage with this person would be like if you were to marry them. And for this portion of the reading, what I do is I'll keep drawing until I get one of my marriage indicator cards. And those are the World card, the Star card, the Strength card, the Ten of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Four of Wands. I think those are all of them. And the reason I use the Strength card, when I did this original Journey to Marriage video, I came up with cards that to me would indicate marriage or the fulfillment of your hopes and wishes regarding marriage, which would be like the World and the Star. But I asked Spirit, are there any other cards that I should include? And they said the Strength card. And that did end up showing up in one of those readings. I thought that that was very interesting, especially because the Strength card, it's normally depicted as the number 8. It isn't in every deck, but the number 8 is an infinity symbol, which I think probably indicates multiple lifetimes with someone. All right, so let's start your spread and see what we get here. I'm going to do upright readings for this because I wish the lighting were better. I hope y'all can see this pretty well. There's only so much I can do. All right. Because sometimes these spreads can be pretty long, so I'm just going to focus on upright readings so that it doesn't become too complicated for me. A lot of earth showing up here. Okay, so there we go. There's the Hierophant. So that's our marriage indicator card. So what this tells me, because this is showing up as your culminating card, is that this is going to be a very traditional, spiritual, and or religious-based marriage. It'll be a very traditional marriage. What else do I want to say about it? I feel like the two of you have maybe a shared faith. You might have the same spiritual and or religious beliefs. I think you can see pretty good here. I'm trying my best, guys. All right. Okay. Yeah, so you might have shared spiritual and or religious beliefs. I don't know, if you didn't watch the intro, one side of the card has the keywords and one doesn't. I want to look at the side that has the keywords. Okay. All right. So I feel like, again, this is someone who's very intellectual. The two of you could meet through school or some sort of shared learning. It also could be that you meet at church. I don't know why this kind of reminds me of someone holding a Bible, but especially with the Hierophant showing up here at the end, like I said, there could be some shared spiritual or religious interest or belief system. But also it could be that the two of you met in school or at work. Also could be someone you met when you were younger, when maybe you were just starting out in your career, when you were still just laying your foundation. With the Three of Water, you may have started out as friends also, like, when and if you meet this person. Again, some of you may kind of know who they are, but don't quite. But I think as you get to know them more, you might have friends in common, or you might socialize out together in groups of friends or something like that. I'm also getting, because we have the Three of Wands here followed by the Five of Earth, and the Three of Wands shows a married couple, right? And then we have the Five of Earth, which is about being rejected, feeling left out in the cold. It might be actually that one of you has a marriage before the two of you would marry each other. And that might leave one of you feeling out in the cold. Or if it's not a marriage, then maybe a relationship. One of you, and the three cards in general can indicate like a third party situation. So I feel like there might be a delay in the two of you getting together, and someone might feel a little bit rejected or left out in the cold, or that they can't be with this other person because the other person is already involved in a relationship, possibly even in a marriage. But I feel like if that happens, then like in terms of your spiritual journey to achieving this marriage with each other, there's a reason for that. That allows both of you to kind of learn your own lessons in life. I think learning how to be dedicated to a relationship, and also just really focusing. I think both of you are very career focused, that you're starting out small, you're starting out with nothing, and you really have to build yourselves up in terms of your career life. And so I feel like if there are these other situations that keep the two of you apart in some way, it's because you have other things that you're needing to learn and explore that perhaps if you came together too quickly, or if you came together too quickly in marriage, it would keep you from really being dedicated to some sort of craft or skill or talent or hobby that you do need to achieve significant, what's the right word? Like you need to develop whatever this talent or hobby or craft is. So I see actually both of you really making some sort of strong headway or movement in life, swift progress. I feel that when you finally do come together, because you may not know this person yet, and life might be keeping you apart, even once you do know each other. It could be that there are third-party situations that keep you apart from each other. I feel like things are going to move very swiftly, and there's going to be a lot of communication. When you do come together, this will be a very dedicated, grounded relationship. And part of that is because you've both really learned through your previous experiences with other relationships. You've really learned how to dedicate yourself to building a firm foundation that's built on, shared values, that's very spiritual and faith-based in some way, where you're very committed, this is a very committed type of partnership. And I do feel like also by the time the two of you come together, you're both going to be very much more in control of your emotions. I did get about this person before that they have this type of personality where they like to be very in control, and they like to hide their emotions as a way of being in control. But I think something that they're going to learn along the way in their life is that they need to learn how to express their emotions more, because they can't really be there for a partner, a spouse, the way that they really need to be if they can't really express the true feelings that they're having in their heart, which they're very sensitive. There are a lot of emotions there, but they don't disclose that very easily. So I feel like that by the time you all get together, you're both going to have really matured a lot in life. So the reasons that life had to unfold the way that it did to keep the two of you apart for some time is because that was necessary, so that you all could really have this very grounded foundation. The Hierophant is associated with the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is a fixed sign. It's the fixed earth sign. So this, again, like when we talk about finances, like it's a very firm foundation, right? The two of you, once you're married, like there's not going to be any sort of divorce. You won't even have to worry about it with this person, because it will feel so extremely secure. Everything will feel so very emotionally balanced and emotionally mature. You both really appreciate each other's dedication to, whatever you're trying to fulfill in your life regarding your work or your life purpose. You both have really progressed a lot in life as well. And I keep getting with both the Page of Earth and the Five of Earth that you guys might have both maybe had a little bit of a difficult time with finances as well. Like that's an area where you have had to sort of build yourselves up in a way, which again is like maybe that's why you end up having, when you come together, it's like you both know how to make something of nothing when it comes to the material world. And then when you come together, you both combine that shared ability into something that's even more prosperous. But yeah, this is like a very firm family unit. It's very beautiful. And again, like so safe. I feel like you are going to feel so safe with this person. You're never going to feel, scared that the two of you will divorce. That's what I feel like based on what I'm seeing here. And you'll always know that this person cares about you because they will make it very obvious to you. All right, so what spirit guide wants to assist you along your journey with this person? Interesting. We have Serapis Bay Ascension. And I'm going to read from the book, but it says, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. And I think that both of you have had to do that, and you've made a lot of progress. You've both been very dedicated to self-improvement, I feel like, and to progressing along your path in life. Okay, let's see what the book says here. All right, Serapis Bay is the light keeper in charge of ascension. He once served as a priest in Luxor, Egypt, helping those passing on to cross over into the light. Now he is a presence we can all call on in order to ascend. Ascension means rising up. It reminds us of the story of Christ being resurrected after death. This means that Serapis Bay can guide us from the lowest states of being back to the light. And I kind of feel like, because we got that death card before, this might be someone who also has had that experience of they've gone to the lowest of lows, and maybe you have also, but you both sought to be guided back to the light. Maybe you reached out. I do feel like you're both very spiritual or faith-based people. And so maybe you called out to God, or whatever, however you view, whatever terminology you use, you've called out for spiritual support in order to be brought back to the light, so to speak, from that lowest point in your life. His energy is almost like that of a phoenix. Again, there's like a death and rebirth theme here with you guys, giving us the support to move out of your own hell or darkness into a space that supports our growth. The stars cannot shine without darkness. You may have experienced a low state of being, trauma, or depression, but this is a new beginning. Become aware of growth. There is always room for improvement. There is also a sense of presentation now. You may be receiving documentation or certification to acknowledge your growth or experience. It's important to cherish this time and to realize that without the challenges or obstacles you have faced, you wouldn't be as strong, powerful, or focused as you are today. You are ascending personally and spiritually at this time, and the universe is here to support it. It's interesting. Also, the page number here is 99. The number 9 is about the end of a cycle, and it really is about, achieving so much wisdom along your path with regards to whatever cycle you're going through. You are ascending personally and spiritually at this time, and the universe is here to support it. And I feel like, this marriage would continue to support both of you in this ascension process, becoming a better person, using your life to the fullest potential, making something meaningful of your life. This is a marriage that really upholds that for both of you. And then collectively, I feel like it's more like you can do so much more even together than you can apart. But you're both very strong, independent of each other as well. All All right, so I hope that that was really helpful and meaningful, perhaps even healing for you guys in some way. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.